Hey guys, how's it going? Dudey here. I am back with another video. I am back from my holiday. I've been on holiday for the last 2 weeks. Had an amazing time in the Maldives. Absolutely beautiful island. I went to Rauda. It was simply magnificent. So when I come back, I thought, you know what? I thought maybe I'll look into, something true crime based to do with the Maldives. And what I found wasn't a murder that took place on the Maldives. It was the murder, suicide, but murder of a Maldivian model in Bangladesh. This is the case of the girl with the blue eyes. Now, before we jump into this case, if you could hit that like button, if you could subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell, that would be amazing. And also, I have launched a Facebook page. So if you could go over there, just type in Dudey Rhino, you'll find me. If you could like it, it's all the content that I do here, but kind of condensed down to 3 to 5 minute bite-sized, subtitled, really coolly edited chunks. Raudha Athif was a beautiful, caring, and incredibly intelligent woman. She was also a viral modeling sensation because of her piercing blue eyes. She did a photo shoot that included this picture, and when this picture went online, it went viral instantly, making her world-renowned in the modeling game. This brought her many opportunities in the modeling world, but her heart was set on becoming a doctor, just like her father. With the level of ambition, intelligence, and beauty, it's safe to say that Rauda had the world at her feet, and she would be able to go on to achieve many amazing things. Tragically, her life was cut short, seen officially as suicide, but we're going to delve into the case today, which may leave you thinking she was murdered. A university in Rajshahi, western Bangladesh, is where Rauda decided to study medicine. She was studying there for 2 years with a plan to finish her medical degree in Perth, Australia, where her family resided. Now, it's important to note, Bangladesh is a Muslim country. 90% of the population are Muslim. And Rauda herself was a Muslim, however, not as strict, shall we say, with the clothing, etc., and the modeling as some devout Muslims, certainly Muslims living in Bangladesh. But she was incredibly respectful and would wear appropriate clothing when studying in Bangladesh. By all accounts from friends and family, she was incredibly happy. Part of this was due to an opportunity that came her way. She got the opportunity to be on the front cover of Vogue. Now, obviously, in the modeling world, oh my goodness, what a honor and privilege to have that opportunity. And she grasped it with both hands when she was in her first year of university. Now, unfortunately, within the Muslim community, this was not received very well at all. Very nasty comments were made about her and the things that she was wearing in the shoot. So it's safe to say that by going on the front cover of Vogue, she may well have ruffled some feathers, and perhaps this could have been the leading contributing factor into why she died. On March the 29th, 2017, the story goes that her friend Sirat claims to have seen Rauda through a slit in her dorm room doors. And what she allegedly saw was Rauda hanging from her ceiling fan by a scarf. So Sirat ran to get the warden. 7 other students came after hearing Sirat's screams. They booted the door in, smashed the door through, and ran into the room to try and save Rauda. But unfortunately, tragically, it was too late. And by the time police arrived to investigate, the crime scene was a complete shambles. In fact, the amount of people that had been going in and out to take a look at Rauda's deceased body, which by now had been taken down from the ceiling fan and placed on the bed, had contaminated the crime scene massively. This story, if you look at the evidence, Sirat's story makes pretty much zero sense for so many reasons. First of all, Rauda was 55 kilos, and in the 60 Minutes Australia documentary, which looked into this case, they actually go to the crime scene and go to a nearby room to check out the ceiling fan situation, because the first thing that springs to my mind before even seeing a picture of a ceiling fan, certainly before seeing this video of the reporter and the ceiling fan, you think, you hang 55 kilos, which isn't the lightest, off of a lighting fixture, it's going to pull it down. Then you see the reporter show how flimsy this light fixture is. I'm telling you, there is no way that a 55 kilo woman can hang from that fixture without at least causing some damage. The ceiling fan is completely undamaged. No signs of bending or anything like that. So that's the first thing that is very strange about Sirat's story. Secondly, they kicked the door in. Okay, so why was there zero damage to the outside of the door that was booted, and the inside of the door where the locks which lock into the ceiling were completely undamaged, i.e., well, if you're booting a door in, you would have to break the lock through, so there'd be damage to the wall, there'd be damage to the lock fixing, there'd be damage to the door, nothing. Seemingly, the room was entered without force. There was also evidence that a potential struggle took place. There was a cracked mirror and a cracked glass table. But everywhere else in the room, you know, there was a curry on the stove being prepared for lunch, a cup of tea on the side. Just very odd to have seemingly a morning routine on one side of the room and then a massively disturbed area and breakages seemingly right before a suicide. It just doesn't add up. Also, looking at the ligature marks on the neck, which I'm not going to show here, okay, because there are images of her deceased body, and out of respect for the family, etc., I'm not going to show that today, but I will describe them. That the ligature marks, when analysed, apparently it was a scarf, but the ligatures look identical to if something more solid like a belt was used. You know, you've got straight lines, seemingly the impression here of a belt buckle. And also, so not only does the alleged tool of suffocation not add up, there are bruises, fingertip indentated bruises on the neck. Now, there are screams of cover-up in this. The father questioned the autopsy, which was rushed through a 30-minute autopsy in the hospital that is attached to the university complex of which Rauda was studying. 30-minute rushed autopsy that just cut and shut, boom, suicide by hanging. Didn't even acknowledge the bruising, fingertip bruising around the neck. So the father was like, well, what is that then? They came back and said, oh, they would be birthmarks. Now, if you think about this, what an insult to the intelligence of a father who has raised a girl for over 2 decades to say, oh, they're the birthmarks that for 2 decades you've never noticed on the front of your daughter's neck. Not only that, she's a model. There are a lot of front-facing portrait images of their daughter online. No signs of any of these so-called birthmarks at all. Now, why cover this up? That is quite a question. And the father seems to think that perhaps, you know, the hospital, university, doesn't want a bad rap. So perhaps they're covering it up so that they don't affect the amount of students that want to come and study there. And if you think about it, it does make logical sense. Now, Sirat. Obviously, you know, you can pull her story apart very, very easily. So why? Well, obviously, Rauda was incredibly beautiful, very intelligent, and perhaps this was a case of murder by jealousy, and also a really weird, almost borderline smoking gun in this was the fact that in the days after her death, her Instagram account was active. And weirdly, Sirat was unfollowed on that Instagram account after Rauda died. So obviously it wasn't her unfollowing people. So maybe Surat was trying to make it look like they weren't as close as they were to try and get her out of the spotlight. And then after a few days after that, after it was noticed, hang on, why has the following count gone down? And then deducing that it was Surat, the entire account was deleted by a mysterious person, quite possibly Surat. Also, 2 weeks prior to Rauda's death, she rang her mother saying that she was fearful for her life because she said that she suspected that Surat had been poisoning the drinks that she had been giving her. There is another theory as to what potentially happened to Rauda here, which may or may not include Surat. As I said, Bangladesh is a Muslim country, and the Vogue photo shoot front cover did upset some Muslim people because they didn't see that it was in keeping with the Muslim faith, and it is thought that perhaps she could have put a target on her back from extremist groups. Now, there have been a massive surge in extremist groups within Bangladesh in the last decade, and just 1 week prior to Rauda's death, her university was raided by police and 29 individuals were arrested for being part of Islamic extremist groups. So these people were certainly in the immediate vicinity of her. So was she murdered because of her love for modelling? Apparently she wouldn't be the first female model in Bangladesh to have committed suicide in very suspicious circumstances. So all things considered, guys, what do you think of this case? Either way, a tragic death of a girl with so much potential to help others. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoy this, please like, share and subscribe. Check out my Facebook page as well. Type in Dudey Rhino. You will find me there. Thank you so much. I will see you very soon. Sweet one. Geese.